Crazy things happening all around the Pokemon TCG, stolen cards coming out of the woodwork in all different places. Today, let's check out the legitimacy of these claims, and we'll take a step back and see what's actually going on. Alright guys, I'm Andy with NorthwoodsCollectors, and today we are going to take a look at the legitimacy of these claims of stolen Pokemon cards showing up all over the place, whether it's the newest set in the Pokemon TCG to be released on June 9th, all the way up to staff promo cards of different Pokemon sets that supposedly didn't have them. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the legitimacy about this and actually talk it over about what's actually going on when it comes down to these stolen Pokemon cards. And is this toxic trait that's continuing to build in this Pokemon hobby a real thing, or is it just something that, hey, things happen and these funny things continue to happen? It's happened before and it'll happen again. So before we move forward, of course, guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify so you know we're doing new videos, and last but not least, hit that like button, guys. That is the channel's best friend, not just for me, but for any content creator that you like in the Pokemon TCG. Be sure that you hit that like button to help us all out and move forward at the end of the day. So now let's first thing I'm going to take a look at and want to talk about is going to be the Paldea Evolved booster packs being found at several sales locations. Now, there is some legitimacy to this, and I'm going to explain it. But first of all, we're seeing a lot of videos and content creators coming out and using the stolen Pokemon card or pack part of this, that they're buying these packs illegally, that they're taking them off the shelf and using other codes or UPCs to get them through the checkouts, and that they're actually going through erroneous ways of getting these cards. And this is absolutely non-factual. It's all being stolen. They aren't getting these in a legitimate way. We've heard these now from several different content creators poking out at content creators that have been accused of stealing packs in the past, all of a sudden finding these and telling people to go find them at these locations, and then them saying, well, no, they're stealing them just like they've done in the past, even though the first times we talk about them cards being stolen, it's kind of hard to prove to begin with. It's just kind of their take on how they got these things. And let's be honest with you guys, Pokemon does some weird stuff, and the distributors do some weird things. Sometimes they make mistakes. There's a lot of things going on. So at the end of the day, who knows? I mean, some of these products can accidentally get out. Granted, I do know that there's a lot of illegal things happening too, and it'd be silly not to know that. We know that people have been stealing stuff out of the Pokemon TCG. Fusion Strike, of course, having them early booster boxes released where it was literally said that they were stolen. We've seen that with several different sets, and it's been a continuing issue in the Pokemon TCG, which really brings some validity to the fact when we see people getting product at an extremely early rate. I mean, they're beating the YouTube creators that work with partnership with Pokemon and getting these products and opening them on their channels. Now, I can tell you for sure that this time around, that Paldea Evolved was accidentally released in some Targets and, of course, the southern area United States. It happened to quite a few locations, not just Target. It was in Walmarts down there. It was in Targets down there. It was in, I've heard, even HEB, which is down in Texas area. All had this released early. And there has to be some things you have to realize when it comes down to these particular products. And depending on what Walmart you're in, what Target you're in, and what system that they have with the distributor for their actual TCG and sports card products, it really does change. Now, I did happen to run into my local MJ Holding guy as he was restocking our local Walmart, and I just want to have I took the opportunity to ask him about it, because you know, if it's coming out and that this stuff was distributed early, that MJ Holding is going to be hearing about this also. It's not just going to be a thing that's contained to just the actual company that did it. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be a nationwide discussion that's coming out, especially when it comes down to dealing with Pokemon, about the issues that were put into place. And well, this is what he said has happened. This was done by Excel. Excel is the other major distributor in the United States for Pokemon TCG products when it comes to your big box stores, your big retailers such as Target, Walmart, you know, a lot of these grocery chains and that kind of stuff. MJ Holding holds the majority of Walmarts and holds a portion of Targets and GameStops and that kind of section, but Excel holds another region, kind of that southern region, and also a lot of Targets also. So they're kind of spread out. Both of those two kind of compete relatively with each other when it comes down to the distribution between these places. Now, he said for MJ Holding and Excel, they both do kind of the same system. If the store is big enough, they don't go into the store. The store restocks those shelves and they just drop off the product at the store, And that's why some stores down there in Excel's area may not have been getting that product. Why it was kind of maybe sporadic to some other stores, but some stores did. Depending on the volume, depending on the work staff, depending on a lot of things, Excel will just deliver the product to the store and the staff will stock it just as they do with any other stocking issue or stocking part of their job. They will continue to face those shelves and work on those shelves, restock those shelves, and they have a section in the back where they carry product for restocking purposes. So that's a typical big store, big volume stores where it's really difficult for MJ Holding to keep up or Excel to keep up with the constant demand and usage of those aisles. So they just use those outside or the inside services of the store to run those aisles. Majority of them, MJ Holding guy said, the majority of our stores, we own this section. We get, in this case, he was showing me in this store, we have a 12-foot section that is ours. We own it. They can put it anywhere in the store that they want or that they see fit, but we own the shelves. We own the product on the shelves. It is our product that we are putting on the shelves, and we are actually selling them. And then Walmart gets a portion when it's sold, and we get a portion when it's sold. And that is how the system works for a majority of the stores. And he said that's for Excel and for MJ Holding. Now, he said the problem is that it sounds like Excel had a grammatical error. Someone typed in 5.9 or 5.10 or whatever it was instead of 6.9. That means that it put the release date for that product a month ahead. So it was literally just an oopsie when they typed it into the release date on these computers. He said when they bring the product in, so they get this portion of product and they come into the store and they put it on the shelves. Now, a lot of people say that the UPC will not be active. They couldn't have been able to sell it because this is actually not available for sale right now because UPC should lock it out at the registers. And he said that's not factual either. He said anytime we put any product on the shelf, we get a gun at the store. They give us a handheld that's hooked up to their UPC system. And a lot of times they do it at one store or they have a log or a scanner, the QR code that they scan. It loads all the information for that particular barcode into Walmart's, Target's, or GameStop system, just depending on where they're at. It loads that information into the computer system, and they print a tag live. He said this is a little handheld printer. It's a little handheld UPC creator. It's a little handheld everything. So it just creates the SKU. It creates the UPC, or adds the UPC into the system, puts the description, the price, all the information inside of it. He prints the tag, and he puts it on the shelf. Once that tag is made and that UPC is entered into the system, it's active. He said, when we do this, there is no inactive SKUs in the MJ Holding side of the products. They just don't do that. It's not like a pre-release thing that Walmart's exclusive to or it's a Walmart product. It's ours. So he said if Excel screwed up and put that on the shelf, made the tags in the system, those SKUs are live and they're gone. They can sell them at that point in time. There is nothing going to stop that SKU from processing through the actual cash register. So that takes care of that problem of where people were saying that people were taking, grabbing Scarlet and Violet packs and scanning them to get the Paldea Evolved out of there. That's not how it worked. The SKUs were active. The second they put them on there, they made the tags, the SKUs became active, and that's it. They were sellable at that point in time. Now, the question is that what kind of repercussions are we looking at for coming down to Excel potentially for selling these products 1 month early? They're probably going to have to make a pretty good case that they made a huge error and that nobody noticed that probably the boxes, just like when we get pre-release stuff, when I used to work at Farm and Fleet back in the day, we would get pre-release products too, and it came down to like toys and things like that for the shelves, and they had big orange tags all over them that said, do not release until this date. So when Excel's warehouse got the go-ahead on this stuff, they were shipping this to their actual reps that were going out and putting this on the shelf, and nobody in that system caught the whole chain of events that could have stopped that from being released early. And it did get out to the reps. Reps didn't think much of it because they got product and they've got a list of cards that they're supposed to drop off at each store. They went, they made the tags, they faced the shelves, they put them all out. It's done. I mean, that's the fact of the matter is when it comes down to it. Nothing erroneous about that. It was just kind of a mistake by Excel, and that's exactly where this thing all lays down to. I don't think anybody did anything illegal. If I went to the store and I saw Paldea Evolved able to purchase, I would have bought it too. Not even going to regret it because, hey, it's awesome for little YouTubers to actually beat some of these big YouTubers sometimes, to be able to do these openings early and have fun with these products and be able to get the views to build their channels because they were able to get these exclusive products ahead of anybody else. So it was a fantastic deal for some of these small YouTube creators that were putting them out there, content creators on both Instagram and Twitter and on TikTok and YouTube, all the Facebook even. All these people got an opportunity that, hey, we've never been able to get unless you were exclusive with the Pokemon TCG, such as Pokerev or Leonhart are at the end of the day. So once again, these are not really stolen cards. These are not really stolen product. It was just a mix-up, and trust me, guys, it's happened before. It'll probably happen again if we wait long enough and keep an eye on it. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be the staff promos. Now, this has come up on a couple channels now about staff promos. Staff promos returned in Silver Tempest. So my local LGS has got staff promos from Silver Tempest. That did happen. They did come through on that particular release. So we do have staff promos again coming out in circulation and into the actual LGSs when they do pre-release tournaments. So yes, these are a real thing for Silver Tempest. I did talk to my LGS, and he actually did get some for Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, and he also got some for Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, and he said Evolving Skies. He said Pokemon, if you are a pre-release store, is actively cleaning out some of the staff promos and some of the products from Sword and Shield that they are no longer carrying. These products are going out to random places. It doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to it. I don't know what the reasoning is for them getting it. It sounds like the UK got quite a few of them at one point, and then of course randomly in Australia we've got some in Canada. Some people in Canada are saying these are also available pretty readily. You look on eBay, there are several places now that are selling these staff promos, so they are showing up more and more. And I think what it looked like is that Pokemon went through and started to create staff promos again right around that Evolving Skies. I don't know if it was Evolving Skies that they were going to bring them back and then pulled on it and decided not to and put them in the warehouse and just did not release them with those pre-release kits. And now they're just kind of like, well, what do we do with these cards? I mean, you're done with Sword and Shield. We're not doing any more pre-release tournaments for these particular cards. Why not send them out to the staff, the actual pre-release and these sanctioned Pokemon LGSs that are out there? I've heard of some judges actually getting a hold of them now, talking in different Reddit groups and different places, that some judges that actually judge tournaments are getting these particular products also. So it seems to be showing up randomly. It's like Pokemon's just kind of cleaning out their warehouse and getting rid of everything left for Sword and Shield and moving on. Once again, we get into this toxic side effect in this hobby where if something shows up that shouldn't be, you instantly go that someone stole it or something erroneous has happened or illegal things have happened. Someone stole Pokemon cards or Pokemon products from somewhere and are putting them out early and trying to make a buck. And sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes, even historically in the Pokemon TCG, we have seen products come out really early, and it's usually specific products such as those blisters. They show up because the big distributors get them and then they put them out way too early, sometimes 2-3 weeks early. I mean, I've seen product even recently for Astral Radiance that showed up 2 weeks early at our local Walmarts. Now, that's not and I get that. That's not quite as far out. But once again, we do see early releases of products at the end of the day. The other one I talked to him about were Crown Zenith tins, because I was curious on little mini tins. Because that was another dispute that we had with another creator saying that, hey, these things were stolen. There's no way he could have gotten this early because distributors didn't have them. Distributors had those products when the first wave of Crown Zenith came out. He said that MJ Holding had those, and they were on pallets that said do not distribute it until this point. Once again, he said someone could have made a mistake. Those products could have gotten out on accident. So with the creators saying that they found those mini tins early, he definitely said that that was a possibility also. Once again, it's that toxic mindset sometimes that someone is doing something illegal because they got something that I couldn't get. Just because you can't get something and I can't get something doesn't mean it was done in a, erroneous way, and it was not done in an illegal way. Someone did this and potentially just got it because they were lucky, and luck is a big part of it sometimes. Sometimes, I'm lucky. I got Astral Radiance early. They accidentally put some out early. Whoops. I got a few packs early. Fantastic for me. But you sit there and look at it, and it happens pretty consistently if you actually look around and you pay attention to it. Sometimes it really does seem like the toxicity and the immediate wanting to point the finger at someone and say someone stole it because they have it is there. And especially when you see people that sometimes get early or have connections to be able to get some of these products early, they got a big fan base, they got a good content creating group, and someone gets it early and sends it to them because they know it'll help out their channel, or they'll buy it from those individuals because they say they have it early. That's things that can happen, and I find legitimacy behind that from the historical factor of the Pokemon TCG and how it's continued to go through year after year after year. Granted, when we were going through the whole boom and everything like that, product disappeared so quickly that it wasn't really talked about, and it was sold so quickly that it really wasn't able to track it as easy. But now that things are slower and a little bit more consistent, you can see when these kind of things happen, and there's more talk about it. I think the community is more open about talking about finding things early and having the discussion about these things. And once again, it's not the toxicity is causing us to always think that it's done illegally. Something has been done wrong, and then content creators like to jump on it and push that narrative because yes, it's really good views when you say stolen Pokemon cards, as by probably the title of this video has really probably taken off and gotten a lot of views because we're talking about stolen Pokemon cards. It's a huge actual talking point at the end of the day. But today I just wanted to sit here and kind of touch base on that there isn't anything really erroneous about any one of those two. The staff promos sound like it's a legitimate thing. Judges are getting them. People that are involved with the Pokemon tournaments and the sanctioned events are seeming to be getting some of those staff promos. It seems like Pokemon might just be clearing out these cards. They made them, decided not to do it until Silver Tempest, and is now just deciding to kind of push them out. Some places did get them at release date. I've heard of the Astral Radiance staff cards being out quite a bit ago, and they've just been kind of floating around. Same with Lost Origins. I've heard of these cards out previously also. So they were all cards that were previously released in small batches. Like they decided to pull it right before shipping and miss some of the boxes, so they did get out. So once again, they were created. They are real. I think the Pokemon's just cleaning out. If you ask me what my thoughts are on it, Pokemon's cleaning out the warehouse of Sword and Shield, guys. Why would we keep Sword and Shield product around that we can't sell? It's not like we can put it up on our website and sell. Why not give it to some of the sanctioned places and the officials that help us on our events and keep our actual Pokemon tournaments operating correctly into the book? So once again, I think that those are some kind of hand-me-down things that we're going to be seeing, and I'm sure we're just seeing the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. The first ones are coming out, especially for the Evolving Skies. Really cool to be seeing Evolving Skies staff promos out there. Brilliant Stars, another one. Really cool to see those staff promos showing up now. Be really interesting to see if there's any Fusion Strike, because now I haven't seen any Fusion Strike ones, so it'll be interesting to see if Fusion Strike ones actually show up also. So be really cool to see if everything from Evolving Skies forward gets promo cards, Battle Styles and Chilling Reign also. 2 more sets that we did not get any staff promos, and who knows? Maybe Pokemon made them and just pulled them because of the whole issues that they were having with the boom. They could be sitting in a warehouse also, and they might just slowly trickle out to these LGSs in different locations. So once again, guys, hopefully some good information. Hopefully this puts you a little bit of peace of mind. Please, guys, stop being so toxic about the environment. Sometimes people are just lucky and things happen. Luck can be a big part of it for when you get something and when it's really cool to actually be ahead of the game, ahead of the curve sometimes when it comes down to these particular items. So keep a cool head. Just think it through and just think, why would there be a benefit for these things to be stolen? It's kind of weird because if they're stolen, and especially staff cards, if they were stolen, guys, they would be hot. I mean, Pokemon would probably be trying to track down where those are coming from if they did get released at this point. If Pokemon really isn't caring about those staff promos being out there and being found and being sent out, obviously they're probably not too concerned about them being stolen. They must have probably released them themselves. It's just common sense at that point. But overall, guys, hopefully some good information. Hopefully this helps you guys out when you're sitting there watching all this hype and buzz going on about stolen Pokemon cards and early releases and erroneous events, and puts a little bit of peace of mind at it. Other than that, guys, hopefully you guys do enjoy the content. After this, please check out the 2 videos I will put at the end of this video. Now I'm putting up a new video at the end for the closing. And of course, we do, if you did notice, we do have a new opening video. Also, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Other than that, we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.